Doctors who have given a second opinion diagnosis. What is the worst first opinion you've ever encountered? Not me, but my mom. She was always exhausted. The type of exhaustion that she'd have a bath. Be so tired from it. She'd sleep on the bath mat when she got out. Went to her doctor, told her, "Oh, you're just depressed. Go get a haircut." She did. Still exhausted. Went back to the doctor. Continued to tell her she's just depressed. Get a hobby. It's all in her head, etc. Never sent her for blood work. Never referred her to any specialist. Months later she goes back. Her doctor is on vacation. Physician relieving her doctor takes one look at her eyes and says, "It's your liver. Get these blood tests now." Abnormal blood work and a liver biopsy later. She was told she had autoimmune hepatitis and was 3 months from death. After she improved with medications, she went back to the original doctor and said, "I didn't need a haircut." 27 years later she still suffers from lingering effects. I went to my doctor and told him I must be depressed even though I didn't feel sad or anything. Because I had no energy and wanted to sleep 24/7. No motivation to do anything. He wrote me a prescription for an antidepressant. But looked back at me on the way out of the room and said, "Let's get your thyroid checked. Something about you looks like a thyroid issue." It was a thyroid issue. I feel terrible for your mom. My girlfriend had a similar situation. Thyroid condition that caused some serious weight gain. About 5 stone over a year. Plus depression and irregular periods and a whole slew of other symptoms. First doctor's verdict: "You're probably just sad that you're getting fat." Patient: "When I was in college I went to the doctor because I was pissing razors. It progressed pretty rapidly and by the end of the week I couldn't walk or sleep. The doc asked me about my sex life and I told him the truth that my girlfriend and I had only been with each other and together for many years. He sorta scoffed at that and told me it was likely chlamydia. Had a long condescending speech about safe sex with me and sent me home. A week later my piss tests were back. Turns out I had the worst bladder infection they'd ever seen. I had to have a camera shoved up my pee hole. Multiple rounds of antibiotics. And to this day I struggle to pee due to irreversible damage the infection caused. Oh man. That sucks. UTIs are rare in men but super common for women. And I get like one every other year. I've gotten really good at feeling the beginning of one before it gets worse. And I drop everything and rush to urgent care. They hurt. I'm a lawyer. But had a client given a devastating diagnosis of an extremely rare heart condition. Doctor told him he had 6 weeks to live. He contacted me to make his will and set his affairs in order. Thankfully, he sought a second opinion with an extremely well-known cardiologist. I guess the cardiologist was intrigued due to the rare nature of this heart condition. There was nothing wrong with him. He was fine. This poor guy and his family were tortured over this. So devastated and terrified. For nothing. He actually called me to tell me all of this. He seemed to be still in the joyous "I'm not going to die" stage. But I imagine anger comes at some point. When you take stock of what you went through. I don't know how a doctor beeps up that massively. Or if somehow my client's results were mixed up with someone else's. And some poor bastard's number is almost up and they don't even know it. I had a very slightly similar situation where I went a walk-in clinic for some dizziness/nausea and the doctor there very much made it seem like I had a life-threatening illness and recommended I immediately visit the ER. He basically said, well, these are the innocuous causes of dizziness. We ruled them all out. So I spent like 10 minutes driving from the clinic to the hospital thinking I was going to have brain cancer and wondering how to tell my family. Only to very quickly learn upon arriving that this particular clinic was well known for referring anything to the ER if the diagnosis wasn't immediately obvious and scaring the speep out of their patients in the process. ER doc wasn't worried at all. I was fine. As someone who has worked in the ER, we absolutely hate doctors or clinics that would do this bull's peep. It's called the emergency room. For emergencies only. Doctors and clinics need to do their freaking jobs too. I once had a GP, not my normal GP, send me to the ER with a suspected broken toe. That part is whatever. But it wasn't the only reason she sent me to the ER. She was also worried about my ingrown toenail that was slightly infected and sent me to the ER for that, as they were all out of the tetanus shot I would need, and the ER do that for me. Not only did she warn me as she was writing the note that they would get pissed off at her and me for that, but she told me that there was no way my work should allow me to work without a tetanus shot. So, took my ass to the ER. Right at the start of COVID. Where they looked at me like I was insane, but once I explained it all, I saw the look of relief that it wasn't me being stupid, it was her being stupid, and I was following orders so I could go to work the next day. I got sympathy shoulder pats and told to get a new doctor. That's bizarre. I recently needed a tetanus shot and I got it from a nurse at my GP clinic. Normally that's what happens there too. Apparently running out happens often. Well, when I first started feeling sick the October of 1 year at college, I had a non-productive cough, night sweats and trouble sleeping, and I had lost some weight. The school nurse gave me Claritin. All of those symptoms got worse. Plus I was incredibly fatigued. My lymph nodes swelled up, and I had pretty bad backaches. My GP took a chest x-ray and prescribed antibiotics for pneumonia. At this point I had almost failed out of school because I was only managing an hour or two of sleep per night. It took until spring break for me to go see a pulmonary specialist. He could instantly tell that it wasn't pneumonia. I had stage 4B Hodgkin's lymphoma. My first PET scan showed cancerous cells in lymph nodes in all 4 quadrants of my body. At this point I had lost about a third of my body weight. The cough, weight loss, and back pain were my swollen lymph nodes pressing on my lungs, stomach, and my back. They gave me my first round of chemo and I genuinely felt incredible. I felt like such speep that in for mixture of carefully measured toxins was an improvement. I went home and ate a whole pizza. Chemo got speedier but it worked. So I guess I can't complain too much. Glad you're okay. What a horribly frightening experience that must have been. Stay with us, friend. Not a doctor. But my mom went into a walk-in clinic and told the doc she had really bad headaches all the time. She was a stay-at-home mom to me 10 and my sister 6, so it was written off as stress and got a prescription for pain pills. 2 weeks later the headaches were migraines. Stronger prescription and try to reduce stress. A few weeks go by and she can no longer get out of bed. Throws everything up including the meds. Is completely disoriented and barely alive. My dad was a truck driver so he was never home. I was taking care of me, my sister, and my mom all by myself. We go back to the doctor and this lady had the audacity to say this is the weirdest migraine case she's ever seen. Tells her to take warm baths and just keep taking the meds when she throws them up. 2 months go by and my dad came home. Saw the condition of my mother who was so sick she would urinate herself. The house which was being kept up by a 10-year-old. And said he wanted a divorce. That night we found out she had stage 4 lung and brain cancer with a tumor the size of an egg pressing on her brain as well as many others scattered throughout. I still haven't forgiven that doctor for not taking my mom seriously. 2 months go by and my dad came home. Saw the condition of my mother, who was so sick she would urinate herself. The house which was being kept up by a 10-year-old. And said he wanted a divorce. Beep. Whole story is sad. But this hits hard. It's a strange reaction. Your mom was clearly ill. Statistically, it's common for men to leave their wives if they become terminally or chronically ill. Women actually have the opposite reaction and are statistically less likely to divorce if their husband becomes ill. If a woman becomes chronically ill, her risk of being divorced by her spouse shoots way up. I used to work at a cancer-related nonprofit. The number of times we worked with couples where the wife was divorced after she was diagnosed with cancer was so disappointingly high. I've heard men go on rants about how angry they are that their wives aren't hot during cancer treatment, that she never wants to have sex, or that it's just not fun being married to her any longer, while these women were on chemo. I have so many stories about women either being divorced or just straight up abandoned during serious illness. Number of times I have that same story about men. Maybe 3. I'm also part of a group of disabled people now, and we regularly talk about dating. One common thread is that women have to hide their disability to date. Men do much better, even keeping it front and center on dating profiles. Yo, this is beeped up.
Hey guys, if you like this video then smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more contents like this. And don't forget to press that bell icon to get notified for future videos. Thanks for watching. Click here to see more videos.